everybody? My name is Eric Hopkins, and welcome to the Jailcast. This is my very first NFL football show that I'm doing here on the YouTube channel, and just want to let you guys know that I originally thought this show was going to be a weekly thing, but after some contemplation and looking at some of the views I've been getting on the YouTube channel and like some of the other shows, I think I'm going to turn the football show into a monthly show, as a matter of fact, and I'll recap everything going on in the world of the NFL probably at the end of every month. That way, to kind of give you all a recap what's going on, including during the season next year. But for now, I want to go over the big thing going on right now in the NFL, and that is the playoffs. The playoffs are coming up this weekend, and we have all the matchups ready to go. We have all 6 seeds from the AFC and the NFC already locked in place, and we're getting ready for Wild Card weekend. So I want to break down those matchups real quick and just kind of give you what I think is going to happen. Obviously, on let's see here, Saturday at around 4 o'clock, the Oakland Raiders will be playing the Houston Texans in Houston for the chance to move forward. And in this game, I got to tell you, I don't know who's going to win this. I would originally would have picked the Raiders because they are the better team on paper, but then Derek Carr broke his leg essentially, and he's now done for the season. So they really have no leadership there behind center, and so I really don't know if they're going to be able to, compete without Derek Carr. He's like the heart and soul of that team, so to speak. He's their MVP candidate, so to speak. And the Houston Texans, their quarterback ain't much better, but it has been the starter for most of the year. Brock Osweiler, the overpaid man in Houston, unfortunately here. But so I would kind of give the edge to Houston a little bit just because they're at home, but I got a feeling like the Oakland Raiders are going to pull this win out mainly because their roster is that much. I feel like they're more talented and more well-rounded than the Houston Texans. So I'm going to give Oakland the win here, and they'll probably be going to New England next week in the divisional round. Now, for the other game on Saturday is the Detroit Lions will be traveling to Seattle to play the Seahawks. And in this game, I'm going to take Seattle hands down. I just feel like the Detroit Lions have kind of backed into the playoffs here. They had a good beginning of the season, and for the most part had a good season altogether. But then they kind of stumbled a little bit the last few weeks. And Seattle, just because they're at home. I mean, Seattle has always got a decent defense and a pretty decent running game. Russell Wilson's kind of had a slower season and not quite as high profile as he normally is. But yeah, I just think because of the home field advantage alone, that building is so hard to play in. The crowd is so crazy, and yeah, and the weather a lot of times up there as well, especially in January, could play a factor. So yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks, and that would probably put them going to Atlanta next week in the divisional round. To round out Wild Card weekend, we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers on Sunday around 1 o'clock, and yeah, for that game, I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I just don't think the Miami Dolphins are. I think the AFC in general is a little weak, to be honest with you, and I think that the Miami Dolphins are back into the playoffs as well. They had a decent year, but then, of course, again, like Oakland, their quarterback goes down to a big injury, and Ryan Tannehill's not playing. So it's going to be Matt Moore, I believe, is the backup. Yeah, I just feel like the Steelers are, have much more talent when it comes to offense, especially with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben Roethlisberger. So that team should be pretty handily winning that game, I think, against the Dolphins, and that would put the Steelers in my predictions moving ahead to play the Kansas City Chiefs next week in the divisional round in Kansas City. And for the final game in Wild Card weekend, it will be the New York Giants traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers. This is probably going to be the best game of the week, in my opinion. It's kind of hard to call. I think what it's ultimately going to come down to, though, is Green Bay winning, and that would be because the Giants are going to turn the ball over, and that's going to be because of Eli Manning. As much as I like Eli, I'm a Colts fan, so obviously I'm a fan of Peyton. But Eli, especially this season, has had a hard time keeping himself from turning the football over. Eli does that all the time. In past years, even when he won Super Bowls, he did that. And maybe Eli turns into playoff Eli, who is usually a better quarterback. But for the most part, he scares me. He doesn't have. I mean, he has great plays, and then he has boneheaded turnovers. And I just think in this case in Green Bay, he usually does pretty well in Green Bay, so maybe I'm wrong. But I'm going to go with the Packers, and they're going to move on to play the Cowboys in the divisional round next weekend. And so that's the preview for this weekend alone. And like I said, since I'm only going to be doing this monthly, I will do another show before the Super Bowl to kind of break down the big game and everything like that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and break down who I think is going to move forward and move into the Super Bowl as well. So in divisional weekend, that puts the Oakland Raiders against the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots are going to roll easily here. Without Derek Carr, Tom Brady and the Patriots are just going to steamroll them in New England, in Foxborough, and they're going to move into the AFC Championship game. There's no doubt in my mind. I just feel like New England's going to have a second bye week, so to speak, here, and it shouldn't be that hard for them. So that in the AFC also that would put the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers playing in Kansas City. In that game, that's going to be a little tougher to call. Kansas City plays really great at home, and in Kansas City in the winter, it could be a snow game for all I know. Um, but I think ultimately the experience of the Steelers is going to win out here, and they were going to have the road win and move into the AFC title game against New England. I feel like Kansas City has great coaching. I just feel like some of their players are not playoff, ready. Like some of them haven't really experienced the playoffs, so I feel like maybe there could be some nerves there, and that's on the coaching staff to kind of help them, be ready for this game. But I just feel like Ben Roethlisberger, who's won Super Bowls, Mike Tomlin, who's won Super Bowls, and of course Tom Brady and the Patriots, they're going to move into the AFC Championship game. So that should be a great matchup there. In the NFC next week in the divisional round, that puts the Seattle Seahawks going to Atlanta to play the Falcons. In that case, I'm going to go with the Falcons because in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, the Falcons, it's their turf, and literally they have one of the best offenses in football. Their defenses ain't the greatest, but in that building, they're pretty well unstoppable on offense. So I'm going to go with Atlanta there to win at home to move into the NFC Championship game. And then lastly, in the divisional round, that brings me to Green Bay going to Dallas to play the surprising Cowboys this year with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. In that game, again, I'm just kind of going on experience here, and with a rookie and playing under center and a rookie running back who has been spectacular. Don't get me wrong here. I just feel like the Cowboys are not going to win that game, even though it is at home. The Packers are on fire right now. Aaron Rodgers is playing lights out. So I'm going to take the Packers to go into Dallas and make an upset here against the Cowboys and move into the NFC Championship game. So that brings us to the AFC and NFC Championships to go to the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 51. And in the NFC, I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons beating the Green Bay Packers. With Matt Ryan going to his first Super Bowl, it will be obviously since the Cowboys are going to lose, in my opinion, to the Packers, that would put Atlanta being at home against the Packers. So I just feel like that game will probably be a shootout because neither defense is superb. But I think just in Atlanta, again, I'm going to give the edge to the Falcons. It's more of a coin toss there. It could be the Packers, but I'm going to take Atlanta, partially because I have Atlanta in a playoff raffle at work, and I could win $50 if the Falcons win the Super Bowl. But that's just again my personal prediction. In the AFC Championship game, I've got the Patriots versus the Steelers, and in that game, it's Tom Brady, man. As much as a Colts fan, I hate to say it, it's Tom Brady in Foxborough. That could be a classic game between the Steelers and Patriots, but I think overall it's New England, and as much as I hate to say it, Patriots are going to roll into Houston to play the Falcons in the Super Bowl. And if that were to happen, my prediction would probably be New England to win the whole thing. But I would obviously root for the Falcons in that case. But that would be an interesting matchup too, and I think that to me would be the game I would most be interested in seeing. But time will tell and see if that actually plays out. But again, that's just my prediction. And just to let you all know, I will be having a Super Bowl preview show that I'm going to put up probably the week before the Super Bowl to kind of break down the actual matchup that actually happens and takes place. And I'll probably review the playoffs up to that point as well, just to kind of break down what's going on to that point. But that's just kind of the way I see it going down. And I don't know if you agree with me or not, but we'll find out soon. Well, that'll just about do it for me, everybody. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like what you saw here, please comment and like this video. And you can also subscribe to the Jailcast on YouTube by searching for Jailcast there. You can also find links in the description of this video for my Facebook and Twitter, or you can go to facebook.com/Jailcast, or you can find me on Twitter @EricJail. So until next time, thank you for watching. God bless.